project, is it? Because if that's the Cedar 4, Richards did both of those.
No.
He didn't?
The contractor did.
He did. I thought Richards Construction had those.
No. But again, you see the 3 loads were all precast. Higher ones were all cast in place on that particular project. And this, I mean, I didn't repeat these, but these down here do the same way. The first 3 would be precast, and the last 4.
So that's indicating that's less expensive to do precast
On a single.
On a single.
On a single. That was a single. Now here's a twin. And I'm not familiar with these projects at all.
Precast here was $143,000. Cast in place was
That's 3 or 4 difference.
You see, this is the same contract. The Midwest is the one that got these 2. The ones out of Minnesota that really seem to be aggressive.
But they were using precast as well.
Yeah.
Even in a double.
Yeah, they bid that, but.
So that's 34,000 on 117 is 37%.
Yeah. Typically been significant. But again, I think this was on a gravel road, I'm pretty sure.
On the singles, I mean, that it looks like they can be very, very competitive.
Yeah.
That's when you start having to have more than a single.
And that's been our experience in the past. I guess we have let them with the option to do either one, which gets us the lowest price for the project, but doesn't take into consideration any difference in time if the road is closed. And I did talk to one of the contracts, I don't know if you call him a contract estimator, or he's one that puts the number of working days on a project, and he said there is a way to bid a project with a time factor in there. I need to review this. He thought it was in the DOT standard spec book now, and see if that was something we might want to do. DOT does that on some projects where I think more where they feel time is more critical. He was telling me about a project they just let where the guy that was he was higher on the bridge cost, but then with the time allowance, let's see, how is it? They give them a maximum number of days to do the project, and if they bid how many days that they can do it in. I need to get a copy of what he was telling me about, just so I can. But anyway, the guy that was going to do it in the shortest time ended up not being low. People that were going to take the full amount of time ended up being lower cost.
Well, those are, I mean, that has to be weighted too, depending upon where it is and the kind of activity that you have.
Yeah.
I mean, some things might be a lot less abrasive, having a longer time frame.
And what the detour is and the outer distance travel, all that has an effect, at least on how
Sure.
What kind of a precast unit would you have had to put in those where you replace those bridges at Walleye? Would that have to be?
Well, the DNR came in, they raised the flow level beyond what the DOT. The DOT set the height of those bridges, and the DNR came in and pushed the height of the bridge up higher. So.
But DNR's got a 3-foot freeboard they like to see above high water.
So it would have taken a huge precast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if a double would even do it. There's tons of flow there.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, that was one of the arguments that was thrown at me the other day, and I said,
Yeah, I had that
it just
thrown
wasn't.
in too.
I don't know
I
that
didn't
Calhoun
know.
and Burns evaluated whether it, I mean, you might have been able to put in a, you know, you might have got a triple that was big enough that would have handled it.
Then you get into issues of, you know, trees and brush plugging up on
Right,
that.
right.
You know, corn stalks, and you know, Paulie Barrett said, you know, why do you like to do it in Missouri? Just put in 3 big steel pipes, call it good.
Yeah.
I said, well, you know, if you want to pay for the entire cost of the project, but, you know, generally federal government picks up 80% of the cost. And, you know, that being the given, then you do things according to the way they want it done.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know enough
They don't.
about the precast to make any kind of.
And
argument.
it's a huge consideration as to what flow might be, and there's a big flow there. I mean,
Well, the only argument that I was hearing was it would have been, the road would have been closed for a fourth or less time than what it was. You can't argue with that, but if that precast isn't going to work, you're just defeating the purpose.
You know, if the city council would have, you know, made that proposal when they were doing the design, they could have looked at what it would have taken to do a triple, and cost-wise, yeah, it might have cost more money, but they might have been able to,
Yeah.
especially when precast could have done it in a shorter time.
but think about, I mean, the flow's a huge issue. Dean's debris issue is huge,
Yep.
and you start restricting a flow like that has.
Well,
Which it would happen with if you've got additional walls in between.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's.
Well, you know, you can get on top of a bridge with a rubberized, you know, excavator and unplug it a lot easier than if you had 3 tubes.
Yeah.
And
Well, and it just wouldn't stop it anyway. I mean, it's very unlikely that it would be.
And the other consideration is what's upstream that you could back water up into, you know.
Sure.
I mean, the box culverts would have probably passed the water, but it might have taken 2 or 3 days to get, you know, it might have backed water up 3 foot higher on the backside. Well, Wally, or Barrett would have been the first one to
Oh yeah.
complain about backing water up.
I mean, that's amazing how much water volume is there at times under a big event. It's a lot of water.
But looking at the estimates or the prices you just gave, there were several of those that were precast and assumedly were bought probably right in the area. But that goes back to 2000.
But they're also single tubes.
Yeah, but we haven't used them.
Yep.
The word is out that we don't use them.
Well, we put, I mean, in 2000 we did, there was 3 projects in 2000 that were precast. They were all single boxes that Midwest out of Minnesota did. I can't tell from this description where they're at. I'd have to get a map and find out where. In '99 again, the twins, there was 3 twins done that year, and all 3 of them went to a cast in place contractor. And well, on this one here, Graves was $71,000, Midwest was $117,000, and that's over $40,000 more. But again, that's '99. I think precast has gotten more competitive.
Hasn't.
Well, I think part of the thing is that cast in place people, you know, prices have gone up and labor's gone up for them too, and I think, you know, they're a lot more labor intensive in the field